Hey, Dirt Farmer Jay here from dirtfarmerjay.com. It's late in the fall, almost winter, and you found some grape varieties that you really like from your gardening club or from a friend or neighbor. Can you start cuttings now? Yeah, you can. Let me show you how. Hey, Dirt Farmer Jay here from dirtfarmerjay.com. One of the cool things about having a yardscape and learning about botany and plants and all of those kinds of things, horticulture, is learning how to do cuttings. Now, these kind of cuttings from grapevines right here that are done late in the season, it is late fall, almost winter, are known as hardwood cuttings. If they were taken mid-season, then they'd probably be semi-hard cuttings. But these are hard cuttings, and you think, well, how are you going to start them now? Well, what we're going to do is let them overwinter with a little bit of root hormone stuck in medium out in the field. Yep, they'll be just fine after they've overwintered, and then they start to leaf out and the root structures form on the bottoms there. We'll actually post another picture through our Instagram account, and I'll show you that in a link right above me that you can jump over to in the spring of 2024, or you can go to the description below and find that link and see for yourself the results. Now, what we're doing at this point is we're actually letting the top weather through, and that suppresses leaf formation, preserves energy in the stem parts, and then allows the root formation to form first, which is key to successful grape propagation. But is this just a bundle of sticks? Is there a little bit of methodology to it? Yeah, let me take you into the vineyard briefly, show you what it starts with, and then how we cut these, prepare them, and then stick them in the ground. Hey, come on, let's go. All right, grapes are very vigorous and they put out a lot of growth in one single season. And this particular variety, Canadas, really puts out long stems. It's very prolific, a lot of overshading, but it gives you a lot of stock to work with. And I'm going to take one of the canes here and just we'll cut a piece of it and show you how it's prepared. So a couple things. I'm going to teach you just a little bit about plant structure very quickly. If you notice, there is a node right here. There's a node here, a node here, a node here, and that's where there's active plant growth that occurs, either leaves or, depending on what you do with hormone or burying it or that sort of thing, you can create root structure out of this. So the nodes are quite a distance apart, and this stem smooth part right here is called the internode, and so there's quite a distance here between them. Now, to make cuttings, what you want to do is remember a couple of things. One, let's call it polarity. Polarity matters. In other words, the part that's closest to the main vine trunk is the downside. That's what's always going to go to the root. And the furthest part away that's going out towards the thin part or out to the outer part of the branches, that's the up part. And what you want to do, you're going to end up with quite long cuttings because you need to have at least 3 nodes. I like to go 4. Now what you're going to do is cut right below the node. Don't cut on the node, and don't leave a long stem, because if you do, that'll rot and that'll cause us problems. So you can cut this a little closer, let's say about like that, and then count up 3 more nodes. And now what you're going to do here is cut a handle and an indicator of what is up. And so what you're going to do is cut like that at an angle, and we'll go ahead and cut that off. And when you do, I now have a cutting. As you can see, it's pretty long here. But the other thing is I drop it and I've got a bundle of them on the ground and I need to pick them all back up. I can really quickly orient what goes up, because the pointer on the top with the length there, and then this is cut blunt. And then when I get a bundle of all of these cuttings, these hardwood cuttings, I can just bundle them together. All right, so that's how you're going to come up with all these cuttings. And of course, if you want to know how to prune so you're not cutting off next year's important growth, the ones you really count on, check out the link right above that we show you how to prune grapes and how we do that, and just the methodology, the pattern you're working. It'll really demystify that. But this is the end result you want, as many of these starts that you want for the following year. All right, let's show you what happens next. We now have our cuttings here, and the These are mixed somewhat. Some are pointing up and down. As you can see, they fell on the ground. So again, using our indicators, the blunt cut on the bottom end, the root end, and the points up on the top here to go up, I can very quickly orient all of these. Now, some of these are different lengths because depending on how old, I always use last year's wood, by the way. As you can see, this has just got a slight bark covering there somewhere. The bark has actually come off there, but this wood is vital, and as you can see, in the ends, it is very green and still. So I'm going to go ahead and orient all of them up. There was one that was reversed, and you might be thinking, why such different lengths? Well, depending on where it was on the vine, like this one, a lot of distance. The internodes are quite long here, whereas some of the others that are shorter, you can see that the internodes were pretty tight right here. But again, I'm trying to get 4 nodes, and I'm actually trying a couple of 3 because I'm always just experimenting. But once you get these all oriented, now you're going to take your next step. So let's do that real quick. Looks like I'm set. All right. Now, what you need next is one of 2 things. Either you need a growing tray of some kind. It can be something like a plastic shoebox or even a homemade crate that you can put growing medium in. That can be perlite, potting mix, compost with perlite, anything that'll hold moisture and can be compacted a little bit around the base of the cutting when you put it in. That'll work just fine. In my case, I'm actually going to put it in a growing bed outside, and we're just going to let it overwinter. But to prepare it, I like to use rooting compound. This is Hormex. Some people say it doesn't seem to make much difference. I like using it, and I'm kind of lazy. I don't even dilute it. I just go ahead and dip each end on the blunt end to get this bud at the end right here coated with our hormone, and then we'll take it out and stick it in the garden. All right, let's do it. I like to put this inside of here in case there's a tip over. I don't end up with a problem. Okay, we've got those all coated. They're ready to go. Let's take them out into my propagation bed there. We'll put them in, stick them in there, and let's see how that's done. Okay, now here we are at the propagation bed, so you can see a little bit over here some other previous starts. And this is, I'm just going to clear back some of the grass out of this area. This is actually over in this area here is some asparagus for next year, but I'm using this as a temporary propagation bed. So here we go. We're going to plant each of these down, and what I do to just make it easier is use a regular, just common nail barn spike. You can get a bigger one if you want. This is what I had on hand, but I'm just going to poke down deep and do a pattern. I like to do them about 4 inches apart. Some people like them closer. When you do the 4 inches, just take your downs and press down as far down as you can and try to get that second bud in if you can. That one did. Okay, there you have it. Now, what we'll do is overwinter these. I'll just mulch them back in. And what'll happen is over the winter and early spring, root formation will occur, and then budding at the top and eventually leaves, and we'll get a start that we can go from there. Remember, if you want to see the results in next spring, just look at the description, find the link to our Instagram photo. As soon as we get these going, we'll show those to you. And what this will do is really provide some nice plant exchange material at the upcoming spring plant exchange in our gardening group. Another area that people struggle with in their garden is an effective irrigation system. We've come up with a DIY PVC pipe system that is reliable, uses common things around the home and garden hose, and that you can control with a timer if you like, and dependably put water right where you need it. Suppress weeds, reduce the amount of water, but get great results. You can check that out right here and take a look at that. And while you're at it, take a look at this other video that YouTube thinks is perfect for your interests, and we'd enjoy it if you watch it too. Until the next time, this is Dirt Farmer Jay from dirtfarmerjay.com.